Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
2014. 2013 was a great year.
Happy 2014 to everybody out there. We're so excited.
Last year we had What Does the Fox Say and The Wolf of Wall Street.
And this year I'm going to high school.
No, in all seriousness, in all seriousness, Happy New Year's 2004. Right.
Well, at least we're getting
you
the
forgot
4
to put
right.
your wall stuff up.
Oh.
The wall's going to be barren with Camille today.
Listen. Fresh start. 2024 is a fresh start for me. Well,
does that mean I should take down mine?
No, what? Oh. What are you, a follower?
Yeah, I'm a hive mind.
Yeah, Tell me what art to put on my wall and I'll put it on there.
Anything.
Nope, no.
Okay. Listen. Happy New Year 2024. Uh-huh. I'm so excited. 2023 was such a good year.
It was such a good year. There was a lot of good art.
There was a lot of good art. And Camille, isn't this a podcast about art?
Don't say that ever again. We are very, very excited to introduce our Gallery Wrapped 2023.
Oh, that was a good way to put it.
Thank you. I love Spotify.
I love Spotify. What are you doing?
Why aren't you leaning in to kiss me?
New year, new me.
What? This year, my resolution is to kiss my wife less.
Yeah.
What? Welcome to Gallery.
We're doing something a little bit different. A little bit.
Stop it.
Okay.
Wait, to say, I feel like I should download Discord.
For some reason, I feel like I should download Discord.
All right, now don't say it again.
Okay. Sorry, that's from an Instagram reel, but...
This year, we are going to go... This
year?
episode,
The whole year?
we are going to go over our favorite art from 2023.
Yes.
Including some of the favorite art from our followers
Yes,
from 2023.
We put up an Instagram story and we asked people to say what their favorite...
DM us.
Well, yeah, basically. We just asked them to say what their favorite art of 2023 was, and we got some great responses. They're all from people we know personally, which we love.
Yep.
And let's just jump right into it.
Oh, you go first.
Me go first?
Uh-huh.
Okay, should we start with the stuff on...
Yeah.
Okay, we got a lot of good stuff here. There's a lot of mentions of Taylor Swift.
Obviously.
Which we will definitely talk about later, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. There's some music on here. We got a couple people saying Wonka.
Wonka?
Yeah. We didn't see it, though.
I haven't
Should we talk about it even if we haven't seen it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what can we say about Wonka?
It has Timmy
It's got Timothy. It's got the guy who presented Game of the Year at the Game Awards.
It's got
It's got Hugh Grant.
We can't just list the actors.
Anyway. No, I mean, what can we say about a movie that we haven't seen? It looks like, I don't know. What can you say about the artistic merit of like reboots?
Well, listen, I think the hater side of me says that the reason why we got people saying Wonka was the best of the year is because it just came out and it was the last movie that they saw. But I'm not hating.
Which is great.
Which is great. But from what I've seen from Wonka, it does seem like a really creative and original way to explore Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, it seems like it's kind of a new take because it is an origin story from what I understand. And
it's a musical.
Is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, it's probably great. And I think there's...
Sorry, I was joking.
Anyway, I think there's always something really cool. I mean, we always talk about how like Hollywood is just remakes and sequels and remasters and reboots nowadays. But I think like as tired as we are of those sometimes, I think that like they're still cool. Like it's cool to see this classic character in a new light, in a new story.
Exactly. And I think, this reminds me of Maleficent too. Like just this, man. Everybody has this story in mind, but there's one character that they kind of go a lot deeper with. And I think that's a really interesting route to pursue.
Yeah. And I think for better or for worse, it's something that people want to see. It's something that movies...
I think it's for better.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like some remakes and some reboots are just not good.
Like what?
Like all of the Disney live action remakes? I don't
All
like
right,
them.
let's continue.
All right. Okay, we didn't see Wonka, but go see it, and it's cool to see the man, the myth, the legend, Willie back.
Wonkin his...
No. Okay, what else? Okay, yeah, there was a lot of Wonka on here. There's a lot of Across the Spiderverse, but we're going to talk about that later.
Based.
There's a song that we haven't listened to. How about Hosier's Unreal Unearth? This is from our friend Maddie.
And
Maddie Maxfield.
everyone else in the world. Because it's the perfect album.
Is this the one with his teeth in the dirt?
Yeah.
Anything like that? Yeah, Daisy? Okay. You kind of introduced... The only thing I knew about Hosier before this year was... Take me to church. And then he also showed up at the Game Awards last year. Last year, 2 years ago in 2022. That's crazy.
Do you relate every famous person to the Game Awards? You're gonna be like, the guy who did Get Out, the guy who's on Game Awards. Okay, Hosier is Irish.
Yeah, he's Irish.
He's from that area, and he is a very, very talented artist, a very talented songwriter.
He's an extremely talented lyricist. He's like a modern day like Greek poet almost.
No, that's perfectly said.
Yeah.
And I think the thing about him that everybody likes so much is that he has this way of words that like it's full of allusions, like literary allusions.
Yeah.
And it takes you back to these Greek myths, or it takes you back to like this really like intense and intelligent like literature and stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's academic almost to listen to him.
Totally.
But the songs themselves are so, I want to say like mystical and ethereal. Like
I was gonna say like mythical almost.
Yeah.
I don't know. He kind of just...
It's levitating music.
Yeah, he kind of paints these otherworldly pictures when he uses terms like, different... what's the line where he talks about... I know it's not from this album, but where he talks about different versions of him buried in the backyard. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. That's just so... I think he uses a lot of striking imagery without using imagery. He uses his words.
Yeah.
And I think he's really talented at that. I can't pull any out of my head, but he's got a lot of great lines.
He's great. I definitely would recommend listening to Unreal Unearth by Hosier.
Yeah, give it a shot. He's got a beautiful voice too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, love that. That album.
Thanks for mentioning that, Maddie. I love that album.
Okay, my sister mentioned Spanish horror movie When Evil Lurks was out of this world insane. We didn't see it, but her last line is something that I want to talk about briefly. Foreign art is essential. Mm-hmm. Camille, why do you think foreign art is essential? Because you studied a lot of foreign. You studied a lot of foreign art. Because we absolutely agree with that. That foreign art is 2,000,000% essential. Mm-hmm. Why?
Well, there's this thing in film called the 2-inch barrier.
Okay.
And it is the subtitle barrier. And if a film has subtitles on it, then a lot of American audience people will not even give it a second glance because it's in another language and it's anime now.
Oh,
and so
oh my gosh, it's so painful to hear that.
it's so rewarding to invest in foreign cinema and foreign art, anything that is outside of your country's bubble. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that just for America. I'm saying that for other countries. Although I do deeply feel that other countries are a lot better at experiencing foreign art. Yeah. And America is very, very bubbled, very sheltered in how much like foreign art they're able to consume anyway. Because like look at our theaters, they're full of American cinema. Yeah. And if you go to Europe, you'll also see American cinema.
No, that's true. I feel like foreign film is a bit of a novelty. Mm-hmm. It's a really cool, it's an Oscar category. And
it's going to be an art film.
Yeah, it's going to be an art film. But, to other people, like it's a novelty and we'd be like, oh, look at this cool African painting. And that's it. But to the people that created it, it's art just like, we view it. And something I feel like we forget about is that like some of the biggest pieces of art of all time, like Starry Night, Spirited Away, a lot of Nintendo games. That's all foreign art.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
So there's foreign art all around us, not just the stuff that we view as just like, oh, artsy and foreign, but like tons of stuff that like is out there and just as good as American art or the country that you're viewing it in. Foreign art is amazing.
So if you're looking for a cool New Year's goal, maybe it's to delve more out of your bubble. Maybe you watch more foreign film. Maybe you look at more foreign like paintings and stuff.
Totally.
Maybe you listen to some Spanish music because man, Spanish music.
Maybe you watch a Ghibli film. Maybe you Yeah, totally. Oh my gosh.
There's a lot of good stuff out there, so don't limit yourself.
Yeah, foreign art is essential.
Thanks, that was a great comment.
Okay, cool. Let's see. We didn't get too many like unique ones because a lot of people were just saying the same
Taylor Swift
and like Spiderverse.
Yeah.
There was one mentioned. Okay, two more things I want to mention. My boy Xander just said Fortnite.
No, he's right.
He's right. Even though I have it on record, I haven't notarized that I don't like Fortnite very much.
You go to the bank and you're like, can you notarize this?
Yeah, it's just a piece of paper that says, I don't really like Fortnite that much, but I'll still play it from time to time.
Yeah.
This year, Fortnite released Lego Fortnite, Rocket Racing, like Fortnite Rhythm. I forget what it's called.
Really?
Yeah,
Get
like
me
a
on
rhythm
that.
game. It's like a Guitar Hero
I want to
game.
play that.
I know.
I'm really good at those games.
She is really good at those games. But they released all those, and you're thinking like, dang, 3 different games? Hold on. There are 3 different games all released inside Fortnite. So all you need is the free game Fortnite, and you can play like a ton of different games. And Jeff at the Game Awards
Oh my gosh.
said that Fortnite is becoming a full-on platform.
No longer just a game.
No longer just a game, which is kind of crazy and kind of scary that games are not just becoming like it's just one game on a cartridge or just one game on a download, that one game can house like a million different games. And we've seen that before with like Roblox. Roblox is like a platform that houses games rather than just a game. But now Fortnite is making it like so much more mainstream.
Is it right to say that's like something like if you had Minecraft, but they suddenly included like a racing course, like a Mario Kart section in Minecraft?
Yeah, totally.
It's crazy.
And that's the thing is like Minecraft even itself has like something called Minecraft Marketplace where you can download all these mods. So Minecraft itself is kind of starting to become a platform.
Cool.
And it's difficult to like really pinpoint exactly what that means for the future of gaming. Like, is there just going to be one game that like everybody plays eventually and just houses a bunch of different games?
Has every
Or,
game
like,
in it?
Yeah, but it's even though it's not my cup of tea, Fortnite is doing something really special, and they're doing it for free.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And they're just breaking some new ground that's never really been broken before. It's been treaded on, but never broken. And they're doing something really special. And it's famous for a reason. A lot of people like it.
Yeah. So if you haven't played Fortnite, try it.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a game in there that you like now.
And Fortnite didn't come out this year. But
no.
I think the reason it was mentioned here was
It's
because
bigger and bigger
it
now.
blew up this year a lot.
Yeah.
Plus, I think it's worth mentioning that Fortnite this year had an event. And that's the thing is like Fortnite is what's called a live service game, which means it's continually getting updates. You download it once and then you experience new stuff all the time, which is also really novel.
Like the Rock skin.
Like the Rock skin and like the Peter Griffin skin. That's not a joke. You can play as Peter Griffin in Fortnite. Anyways, what was I saying? They had an event this year as part of their live service where they brought back the very first map that they had ever in Fortnite, like back in 2017.
Oh, I heard about that.
And it was the highest player count they had that year. So it's kind of cool how they can do stuff like that, how they can have these specific events where they bring back nostalgia, and they have so much creative control. And I think what they're doing is really special,
That's
even if I
awesome.
don't like it very much.
A little hater. Maybe you need to go in and play Fortnite Rhythm.
I only play Fortnite when they bring in the Spider-Man webs because I like being
Spider-Man. Didn't even play Spider-Man 2, McKay.
That's because we don't have a PlayStation 5, and also, I don't care. No.
Are there one more?
One more. I have to talk about this movie because this was like the biggest surprise to me this year. Past Lives.
Oh.
Is Past Lives a foreign film?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
it
yeah.
is. Well, okay, that was a stupid question, but Wow, we watched Past Lives one night just on a whim.
Isn't that your number one?
No,
this year?
number 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Number
one's Across the Spiderverse.
Oh yeah, yeah, should have known.
Past Lives is about 2 kids who have a crush. They kind of fall in love in that like kid way, I think. And it's all under this notion of, what is it called? In-yun. It's a Korean thing where it's like fate brought you together or something. And so they're kind of under that cultural notion of that when they have this little crush. Eventually they grow up, they go their separate ways. The boy becomes really successful, and the girl actually moves to America at a very young age and grows up there and marries someone else. And you start talking about it now because
this is all new to me. I forgot the whole movie, and so I'm like, oh no, what happens?
But basically, they start to reconnect, and you think, like, spoilers, you think that, like, they're going to reconnect and it's going to be this perfect love story.
And they're going to get rid of their husband.
Yeah, and they're kind of... The film explores this really well because it kind of shows them both fighting between this notion of, like, in-yun, of, like, this is the person you were meant to be with, and what does that really mean? And, like, going your own path and, like, being with somebody else that fate, like, or, like, destiny, like, didn't have you be with in the first place.
Yeah.
Anyway, it is, like, beautiful and devastating and, like, heart-wrenching, but it is so beautiful, and it is so, like, it's so well written. Mm-hmm. And it really makes you think, like, what does, like, destiny in terms of, like, the person that you end up with really mean?
Mm-hmm. Beautifully said.
Thank you. Sorry, I kind of went on
Good
there.
job.
I'm so passionate about this film.
I think, well, I forgot the whole movie, but the one thing that I remembered was that it reminded me of La La Land in a very particular way.
La La Land kind of explores that too.
It explores this idea of, like, fate and love and everything like that. But what I remember specifically from La La Land and Past Lives is that they somehow have the ability to portray very intense and very unique feelings that you don't get a lot of other places.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm thinking about in La La Land when they're sitting on that bench and she's about to move away and he's about to go somewhere else. They're, like, really about to break up, but they're still in love. And they're just kind of in this, we can sit here for now and now is okay kind of moment.
Yeah.
And, like, right before a big change is about to happen, that's a kind of feeling that is very hard to experience, especially like made for you, you know, synthetic almost.
Yeah.
But you really feel it in La La Land. And I felt that often, or like many times watching Past Lives, this feeling of, like, you don't get it a lot of other places. And I think it did that beautifully. Like, it was an experience of a film, and I would recommend it to everybody.
Please go see Past Lives. I think my favorite thing about it is just that the guy that the woman ends up with, her American name's Nora, so I'll refer to her as Nora, but the man that Nora ends up with, their relationship isn't really that exciting. It's not the greatest love story ever told. They go on this, like, photography retreat or something, and they kind of meet up, and they kind of just, like, get married. And they talk about this with each other, and they eventually, the message is displayed where they, even though, like, their love story is not, like, the most amazing thing ever told, it's still a love story, and they can still it's still meaningful, it's still valid, you know, even if...
It's still worth fighting for.
Exactly, yeah. So, oh my gosh. Past Lives is amazing.
So good. It's
oh
so
my
good.
gosh, Past Lives is so good. It's the second best film of the year.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah. That was from my sister Emma.
Awesome.
I think that's it for Instagram. Thank you for sharing those with us. We love you all. Great stuff this year. Dang.
And if you think of any more that we need to see, please let us know.
Please let us know.
If you got another Past Live up your sleeve, we want to hear about it.
Yeah, for sure. Past Lives is like a live-action Ghibli film. That's what I was thinking about when...
Oh, yeah. It's shot beautifully, too. Oh, I could talk about it forever.
Yeah, we got other stuff to talk about. Past Lives was amazing.
Okay. So now let's go into kind of our favorites of the year. We both chose 3. And this is the first time that we actually told each other beforehand, before filming, what our 3 are. Just because we didn't want to have the same ones.
Yeah. Well, also the reason for that is we didn't do any research this time. This is all just from our heads.
So, I did research. Only because
everything that I just said.
I love to have cool statistics. I didn't do a lot of research.
Okay, good. You're so cute.
You go first.
Oh my gosh. I forgot mine, I think, because I didn't really write them down. The first one I want to talk about is...
Wait, are you going in like three, like your top three? This is your third?
Should we do that?
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
don't.
doing.
I don't really have them ranked though.
All right. Well, mine are.
Let's talk about an artist that I kept seeing this year. Every time I opened my Instagram art account, I saw this person and I followed them, and I think they're amazing. They are. Excuse me. Okay, I'm going to butcher this pronunciation of their name. It is Alai or Ale. I'm just going to call her Ale or Ali. Uh-huh. I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Ali Ganuza or...
This is bad.
Ali Ganuza.
Yeah.
Okay. She's a painter on Instagram. And the reason I chose her is because of her color usage. I'm just going to show a couple images right now. Audio listeners, just look over to the episode art. But that's the kind of stuff that she does.
I've seen her stuff.
Haven't you seen her stuff?
No, I've seen her stuff.
Yeah. Like, let's find a good one here.
What medium does she use?
I think it's oils and acrylics.
Wow.
But like, man, look at that. So she does primarily, it looks like she does like still lifes.
Who knew that still lifes could be so colorful and vibrant and
like,
saturated?
look at this one. Okay, the one that we're looking on okay, this is one I want to talk about. This is a still life of an open ketchup bottle and a mustard bottle.
Which I'm sure audio listeners right now are like, wow, sounds great.
Like, what the frick? But like, when I tell you that this is like, has some of the most vibrant and unique color usage I've ever seen, it is amazing. It really captures like the feeling of like sunlight coming through a window and just like, she just cranked it up.
Yeah.
And it looks amazing.
It's beautiful. There's
beautiful.
A very vibrant and saturated purple background of very many different colors of purple.
Yeah.
And there's like this gleam coming off of both bottles. Like sunlight is shining directly off of it.
Yeah.
And you can even see like the reflection of the red of the ketchup bottle like reflecting onto the table. That's beautiful.
And to do this non-digitally like is so tough. Like, and
her reference picture.
There's a picture of her reference. And she just uses colors so incredibly.
Beautiful.
She has a picture of a golden bow.
And
like a golden Christmas bow. Look at that, man.
Wow.
Like, that's gold. Like, when you look at it, it's gold. It's just like a gold Christmas bow.
Jeez.
But there's like 100 different colors in there. And it looks oh my gosh, it looks phenomenal.
This reminds me of your mom gave us an acrylic painting of a picture of our wedding.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing a white dress in the wedding, like in the picture. But I don't know where it was. But my dress, the way that she painted it, it has like a million different colors in it.
Yeah,
like
totally.
it's beautiful, and I feel like that's the artist's ability to pull out all of those colors and still make it look exactly like the thing they're going for. Insane.
Yeah, I think with artists, there's a bit of an obsession with the reference. Like, oh, you got to stay on the reference, which you can do, and that's totally great. But in my experience, when you use the reference as scaffolding rather than your finished product, it makes it so much better. You know what's there in the reference, and then you can take the reference and be like, okay, this is there. I'm going to twist it in this way, or I'm going to do it this way. So with Ali and with my mom, it's clear that they take the reference and they look at it and they do their own thing with it.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's the color usage. I mean, in real life, this Christmas bow is not that saturated, right?
Yeah.
But Ali captures the way that looking at a Christmas bow would feel.
It's just a gold bow, but it has green and purple and red and black.
In like exaggerating the colors so much, she really makes it like feel like you're just looking at like a really beautiful Christmas bow. And let me bring up La La Land again, because like in film there's this quote from, it was either Stanley Kubrick or someone else, but Stanley Kubrick said you don't photograph the reality, you photograph the photograph of the reality. And basically what I interpret that as is if you want to portray an emotion like love, you don't actually portray what love is like in real life. You portray, like in La La Land, like dancing through like a galaxy and like music swelling, because that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to make it like, that's what's going to portray it really effectively. Obviously, it's not the only way to portray reality, but it's a very effective way.
Yeah.
And I really think that that's what Allie's doing right here. She is showing you, she's doing that impressionist thing where she shows you how it feels. And it's just amazing. So that's
beautiful.
Some of my favorite art that I saw this year. Like literally every time I open Instagram, like a new painting of hers would be there, and I'm like, oh man, it looks so good.
I've saved some of her paintings. They're mind blowing.
Absolutely impeccable.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Okay, you do your number 3.
Okay. I think my third most favorite thing of this whole year was Across the Spiderverse.
Oh, that was your favorite thing ever?
Third.
Okay, third favorite thing? Holy frick. Across the Spiderverse. Oh man, what do we freaking say about it?
Okay, this is what I'll say. When I went in, I think me and my sisters, we kind of have this thing against Spider-Man, honestly, because I just knew a lot of freaking nerds who were really weird about Spider-Man growing up.
Yeah, oh man.
And I always thought it was very like at Tobey Maguire and stuff, and I didn't really care for it. I thought Spider-Man was kind of like a little kid hero. Mm-hmm. And then I saw Into the Spider-Verse, and I said, oh my gosh, this art style is amazing. Yeah. And I was really into it. I loved the vibe and the culture and the music, and just the entire presentation of the movie was mind-blowing. And I was like, great, I would love to see a second one. And so when I went in and I sat down in the theater, I had really high expectations of this movie. Yeah. And especially with things like Puss in Boots coming out, and like I don't know, this like art style that
Mitchell's versus the Machines.
This leaning away from 3D animation into like this very stylized 2D animation almost.
Yeah, making things not look photorealistic and actually using the medium of animation how it should be used and doing unique things. I won't get on my soapbox now, but
sounded like a soapbox. But sitting down and just seeing like that very opening scene with Gwen and her dad and all those colors.
Oh my gosh. I completely forgot about the opening.
I transcended, man. I left this realm.
Alone was crazy.
I sat there, and I don't think this has happened to me very often. It happened to me in La La Land. But I sat there knowing that I was watching a work of art.
Yeah. I felt the exact same way in the theater. There were moments where I was just like,
blown away.
Like Dune worm level moments where you're just like,
see the sandworm.
You just hear the sounds and you see the visuals and you're like, holy frick, this is cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just how fun it was, how well paced it was, the incredible character designs and the amount of characters in it, and obviously all of the work that went into this film by hundreds of animators and all of these years. It's just, we're lucky to have it in like our realm.
Lucky to have it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it just does so much right. It proves that animation is just, it takes animation, it takes its possibilities, and it just freaking runs with it and does so many different things that really make the storytelling so effective. It really explores a message of like, I will say that Across the Spider-Verse is a Two Towers, where it's kind of the middle one in a trilogy that is meant to move things along more than like really like pose something. And it still poses something, and it's still excellent. But it is like,
you want the third one.
I really want the third one is what I'm saying. And so I think that's something that Across the Spider-Verse does so well, is it moves the story. I think practically everything and anything that the first movie introduced, the second one builds on, and it builds that world. And it's just...
They trust their audience.
Yeah, they trust their audience.
It literally feels like those creators, like the artists, I love the soundtrack, the animators, the producers, everyone involved, I feel like they knelt down and they gave me a gift, and that gift was Spider-Verse.
Yeah, it's a premier example of people realizing the weight of something they're making and the potential of something they're making.
Yeah.
They knew what they could do with animation. They know what they can do with Spider-Man and the deep themes and messages that are attached to that character. And they really totally gave it their all. And it shows.
It really
Oh
does.
my gosh, Across the Spider-Verse was amazing. I'm really hoping and praying it gets a Best Picture nomination, but I know it won't.
No, it's animated. It's for kids.
Okay, but for real, earlier when you shared that Spider-Man story, are you saying that you thought that something was dumb and lame and for kids, and then you gave it a shot, and then you found out that it was really cool and epic and has worth?
Yes. If you or a loved one has ever experienced these feelings.
No, we don't want to get preachy, but holy frick, what a great movie.
Beautiful.
Okay, is it my turn for my
You're
number two?
Yeah.
What was my number two?
Bro, I didn't even write down anything.
Dude, I literally forgot.
Actually, I wrote no notes except for my number one.
Okay. Okay. I think my number two has to be, oh my gosh, it's a constant fight for Resident Evil 4 and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Okay. Holy frick, 2023 was probably the best year for games. Like we played so many cool things this year.
Do you want to hear the top 3 best-selling games?
I think we should do that all at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just kind of a wrap it up.
Okay, that's cute.
But I think as excellent and as absolutely amazing as The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom was, I want to talk about Resident Evil 4.
Do it.
So Resident Evil 4 from 2023 is a remake of a game that came out in 2005, I think, or 2004. I think it was 2005.
Scary, stressful game.
But it's a survival horror game, which means that you are surviving. You're not necessarily like using upgrades and like power-ups. You're kind of rationing the things that you like.
You're not progressing. You're just constantly out of bullets.
No, really, you're really trying to survive. And so what this game does so well is it is a shooting game. There is shooting in it, but it limits you so much. Like really all you can do is like walk forward and shoot. And like sometimes use your knife and sometimes kick your enemies.
But you still have this feeling of progression.
And you still have this feeling of like dread and like helplessness, because it compensates for you might be hearing like slow movement. All you can do is walk and shoot and like barely run. That sounds freaking dumb. And I get that. But but the way that the game is designed is it throws enemies at you that compensate for that lack of movement. So your limited controls and movement are what makes it so scary. Like there's this guy like walking at you and you can't really do much. You can't run away. You can't like slide past him. You can't like dodge him like in Elden Ring. You have to just kind of take it.
Isn't that what I said when I played it? I was like, where's the dodge button?
Yeah, exactly. You kind of just have to you really have to kind of face everything that comes towards you. And whether that's running away or shooting him or like using like something tactical, you really have to use survival tactics to get past enemies in this game. Like nothing like there's few enemies that run at you like insanely fast, and there's few situations where you'll need a lot of movement. But it's the ultimate example of less is more. It gives you like, sorry, whoops, I bumped the mic. It gives you like mechanics and how to move. It like presents how you move in a way. Let me say that again. It says, here's how you move. You're very limited. And here's just the right amount of challenge for you. Here's the perfect like speed and enemy type to make you kind of freak out and like really hone in and like conquer them. And it is, I don't know, it's like, when I think of power in a video game, I think of Elden Ring and like Metroid Dread, where you have a ton of upgrades and a ton of like items and you can like do crazy magical things. And power, like a feeling of power comes from that for sure. But I think there's a feeling of power in Resident Evil where it throws a couple enemies at you and you really have to be like, okay, frick, how do I like get past this?
Yeah.
And you manage to do it and you kind of go like, oh, it makes you feel really good.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
relieving and you feel like, okay, got to keep moving forward, and you feel awesome.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that's the immersion point of it.
Totally.
Like, I feel like it is a remake, and so there was
it's a very faithful remake, I will say.
Yeah, there was this game before that does all of the things that you're saying it did.
Yeah.
But I feel like the reason that it's so much better is that it's very easy to get lost in this game.
Yeah.
There's so many little details, like the sound design and just the world around you and the places that you're allowed to go. It makes you feel, and of course the gameplay, like you explained, it makes you feel like you're there and you're fighting for your life, which is, you know, something that only video games can really do for you.
Yeah, honestly. It feels like every game is like open world. Like, we got an open world Mario with Bowser's Fury and Zelda and Elden Ring and Red Dead 2 and Starfield.
List every open world game you've ever played.
It feels like everything needs to be bigger and bigger and bigger. But I think Resident Evil 4 proves that a very guided, toned down experience can still be incredibly impactful.
Well said.
Thank you.
That's cool.
Oh my gosh, I love that game.
Good.
I cannot say enough good things about Resident Evil 4.
I'm glad. I think when you first picked it up, I was like, scary game.
Yeah.
And then I tried to play it, and I swore a lot, so...
Yeah, you did swear a lot.
It's a hard game.
But it's freaking...
I was on easy mode, too.
Hey, I was on easy mode, too.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It makes me feel better.
Okay, do yours.
Speaking of easy mode, my number 2...
I know what your number 2 is.
No, it's Baldur's Gate.
All right. Baldur's Gate 3 won Game of the Year.
It won Game of the Year.
And oh my gosh.
I've mentioned it a couple times on the podcast because it has taken up 75 hours of my life so far.
Yeah.
And that's not a lot compared to everyone else, so I'm not crazy.
You know, when you watch Lord of the Rings or even read Lord of the Rings or when you watch Star Wars and you just feel like immersed in the world, like you can look at a character and be like, you know they have like whole backstory and there's a whole Elvish language. That is Baldur's Gate in video game form.
Mm-hmm. There's so much to say about Baldur's Gate, and obviously I can't say it all here, but for those of you who don't know, it's...
Baldur's Gate 3, by the way.
Baldur's Gate 3. Not 1 or 2.
We never played them.
It's almost a D&D game. Like, you have to roll dice for your movement, and you get to know different NPCs, like, in a very deep level.
Yeah.
It's not just killing zombies.
Yeah.
I'm not dumbing down. I'm not dumbing down Resident Evil.
It's not just killing down, yeah.
Mine's interesting.
Its exact genre is a character RPG.
This is McKay, who's currently editing the episode. Baldur's Gate 3 is actually a computer RPG rather than a character RPG. I saw CRPG and assumed it stood for character, but through later research, I found out it was computer. That being said, Baldur's Gate 3 is still very character focused. Thought that was an important correction to make. On with the episode.
Mm-hmm. And when you hear that, just think D&D. It's very focused on the characters and your relationships with them. And the world is fleshed out in this kind of choose-your-own-adventure way. Mm-hmm. The game takes into account so many things.
There's I think there's 250 epilogues that you can get depending on the choices that you make.
Yeah.
And the thing that really makes me want to fall down and cry over this game is that the amount of choice that you're given and the amount of consequence that is available to you. Good and bad consequences.
Exactly. Do you want to continue?
What are you trying to say?
Well, I was going to say that to me, that's what makes Baldur's Gate and a lot of other games feel truly alive.
Yeah.
Like, Baldur's Gate may not have, like, the most realistic graphics or the most, like...
Oh, yeah?
In-depth, like... I don't know, like... You can't... Like, there's still, like certain paths that you have to go on. It's not like a Bethesda game where every item is 3D modeled and there's all this freaking stuff. It feels alive because of how thought out like the characters are and
how much work was put into it.
Yeah, because it takes into account like the race I chose and the class I chose and the characters in my party and the items in my inventory. That's what makes it feel alive to me and realistic to me rather than like, oh, there's like a cup on a desk that you can pick up and that was this guy's cup. And I don't know, like I'm having trouble explaining it, but it feels like it's quality over quantity rather than like pushing just like a ton of crap in the game. And that being said, there is a lot of stuff in the game.
There's a lot of stuff in that game.
But it just feels like it's focused so much more on like the quality of the choices that you make rather than like how much stuff there is in the world.
Mm-hmm. And I will say the thing that I am the most shocked about and that I haven't played really a game like this is that it applauds every decision that you make, even if the consequences are very bad.
Yeah.
And so it will encourage you almost to play this really righteous good run where you're nice to all of the innocents and you do every good thing in the world. Like you'll get certain characters liking you more and you'll get more like items that way. But you can also go this despairingly evil route and you're
Totally.
Oathbreaker paladin and you're doing the dirge route or whatever. And it's like, it's this, you're being totally evil. You're making all these decisions where I feel like in other games, it would be like, oh, you're bad now. Like in Skyrim, you're bad now, you steal, and so everybody's going to be mad at you. Or in Red Dead Redemption, you're bad now, you stole, so you get a bounty on your head. You get consequences.
And that's kind of
There are consequences in Baldur's Gate, but it also is good consequences for it.
Okay, yeah.
And so, like, if you do something evil, then it'll be like, you did good here. Here's an extra prize that you never would have gotten in your good route.
Yeah.
And so I've never felt that kind of freedom, like ethically almost in a game where I can truly be rewarded to pursue any kind of route I want and to explore these different characters that I can even make up in my own head. It's amazing. It's a huge experience.
I think that's what I was trying to get at earlier when I said that that's what makes the world feel alive to me is the consciousness it has for your choices and the freedom, you know, in a game. Like, that's what makes me feel like it's alive is when you do this, like, it respects that and it knows that you made that choice and it knows and it takes into account who you are and who you've talked to and what's in your inventory when you make that choice. And that's what makes it feel alive to me. And I think that for me, that's what makes worlds feel most alive. Like in Breath of the Wild or even Tears of the Kingdom, like when like in Starfield, when I go up to ice and I can't break it with my gun, that immediately takes me out of the world. But like, even though Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, they might not be the most realistic games, but the fact that it respects my choice as a player so much makes it feel truly alive. And that's what makes worlds feel so rich in games, I think.
I definitely agree. And Baldur's Gate just does it so well.
Yeah. I think I saw a lot of people complaining that like Baldur's Gate 3 won Game of the Year because they were like, there's no like action. Like all you do is just like move your characters around and roll dice and stuff. And it's like, why is that not valid?
Okay, it is action.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, but they were comparing it to like Spider-Man 2 and
like real time,
action, and it's like, why do we immediately throw out like chess when football exists?
Yeah, right.
No, we don't. Like they're two valid forms of competition, and Baldur's Gate and Spider-Man 2 are two valid forms of gameplay. And Baldur's Gate 3 won Game of the Year because it's incredibly refined and addictive and fun.
I think if I had any game, you know how they're like, if you could take one movie to a deserted island and watch it for the rest of your life, that would be, Baldur's Gate would be my game.
That's a good, yeah.
Mostly because I feel like a lot of games you can play and then replay. And like in Resident Evil or something, you just replay the same game and you go through the same things.
Yeah.
I think if I even tried to play Baldur's Gate again the exact same way, I couldn't.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many ways you can go about it.
Yeah,
I could
and the
play
dice rolls.
I could play it for the rest of my life and always play a new game.
You probably will.
Yeah.
Anyway, Baldur's Gate 3. Wow, so amazing.
Great game.
'Kay.
So great. Give me your number 3. I mean, your number 1.
My number 1?
Your top art of the year.
My top art of the year? Dude, I can't remember what it was, genuinely.
What?
I think it was Tears of the Kingdom, but I also think it was Spiderverse. Oh!
This is why we take notes.
Okay, this isn't my number 1. I should have said Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 is my number 1.
Okay.
For like the art that I want to talk about.
What's your number 2?
Barbie.
Oh.
Now, a lot of people are going to hear Barbie and they're going to groan because there's a lot to say about Barbie.
The girl movie?
I don't want to talk about that necessarily. I want to talk about the impact of this movie. Like, I don't want to talk about the messages necessarily, just because everybody has a lot to say, and I don't want to talk about it, even though I think it's important. But the two things I want to focus on under this movie are, one, this movie is a masterclass in costume and set design. Like, in a age of Hollywood where entire movies are filmed completely on blue screen, which isn't an objectively bad thing.
Yeah, which is definitely an art form in its own.
But Barbie comes out and it shows
we can make the dream house.
You can make the dream house, and this super unique set that shows that like the practicality of it and the fact that they really just went all in and made it look real. It totally like perfectly adds to the satire of the film and the look of it. So, and the costume design. I mean, it's Barbie. Like, Barbie has amazing outfits. Yeah. And just the makeup, and it feels like they were making a Barbie movie and they didn't want to cut any corners, and they made it totally like like the way that Barbie like drinks milk and there's no milk in there, the way that she takes a shower and there's no water. I mean, it just adds to the satire. It adds to the message. It's so good. Do you have anything you want to add?
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I think that we need to talk a little bit more about. I mean, everybody, when they see a movie, they're like, the cinematography was amazing. And it's always about the directing or the cinematography, usually.
Yeah.
But I feel like so many people forget, like, just basic production design and
Totally.
how much work is put into the set designers and the kinds of colors that they include on set.
Yeah.
Like, I was on a film set where we were filming in a gas station, and the production designers, like, or our set designers, they took out all of the candies that had the wrong color because we only wanted like warm colors, and so
Totally.
they took out all the blues. And I'm sure nobody noticed, but it added to the whole feel of the film. And I don't think anybody really realizes how much work and love and passion goes into the job of a set designer.
And you mentioned cinematography. I feel like cinematography, we hear that word and we only think of like, oh, how cool a shot looks. But there's a lot more that goes into making a shot look cool than just like the movement of a camera. It's the set design, it's lighting, it's coloring, and
it's the color grading over it.
Yeah, and Barbie leads with that.
It's beautiful.
They did a great job making that movie look the way it does.
The production quality was over the roof, and it's fun to see movies that like Across the Spiderverse, like we talked about, that just are passionate about creating art.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to mention about Barbie is I can't mention this aspect of Barbie without mentioning Barbie's other half, Oppenheimer.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Ken. It's like, yeah.
I will say that the Ken stuff in the movie is so good. Mm-hmm. But
Oppenheimer.
The whole Barbenheimer thing that happened this year is just, if Barbie alone is a masterclass in set design, then Barbenheimer is a masterclass in participatory engagement.
Yeah.
And just the way that like internet culture and like meme culture can aid in the success of a movie.
It was like a whole different marketing schema.
And it was all 100% made up by fan-led. Greta Gerwig and Christopher Nolan never did, like, as far as I can tell, anything to promote Barbenheimer.
They got on their like spam account and they did a secret, like, they were the first ones. They're like, Barbenheimer, it'll be cool.
They were the ones who did it secretly. No, but like, I think the most that like was ever done to like by Greta Gerwig or Chris Nolan to like promote Barbenheimer was Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie posted a picture with them holding Oppenheimer tickets, and that was it. But everything else was the audience creating this event of these two completely opposite movies, combining them, and like,
you know how many go ahead.
So like seeing a cinematic event like that since COVID, of people going to the theaters and having fun and dressing up, like, that's cinema, dude. That's like, it's so uplifting.
It's so fun. There's something special about the theatrical experience of seeing like a movie that came out and dressing up for it.
Yeah.
I know, like with Despicable Me, everyone went in suits or whatever.
Yeah.
The young'uns went in suits.
A bunch of cosplayers went as like the animatronics when the FNAF movie came out. Yeah.
And it's fun to go to a theater and see a movie with people around you who are all excited to see the same thing.
Yeah.
And I know theaters are struggling in their own ways and stuff, and people are like, I don't want to hear people cry during the movie.
Yeah.
But it's just so fun.
Thank you, internet, for being so weird and like unintentionally amazing.
Yeah.
To kind of revitalize the excitement of cinema and seeing things in person. Please go see movies in person.
Yeah.
Please go to theaters.
Perfect.
So that's all I have to say about Barbie.
Thank you. That was good. I'm glad you brought it up.
Thank you.
It was kind of a cultural touchstone.
Oh yeah, totally. I think it's one of the best films of the year.
Great. Okay, my number one.
We have to talk about this.
My number one. Taylor Swift.
Okay, listen.
Obviously.
Like there's a lot to say about Barbie, everybody's got something to say about Taylor Swift. Whatever you have to say about her, you cannot deny the impact that she had.
Mm-hmm. She is Time's Person of the Year.
Yeah. I think obviously the biggest thing that happened surrounding Taylor Swift this year was the Eras Tour, where she kind of went on this tour and she celebrated her entire discography and her entire journey. It was like Taylor Swift Endgame, honestly.
Yeah, it really was.
I didn't get to see it live. You got to see it live.
I did.
What can you say about it?
I have a lot of statistics that I want to bring up.
Okay.
But first of all, I do want to talk about the concert, seeing it live. I've always been a fan of Taylor Swift, and I have friends and family who have been recent fans of Taylor Swift,
including me,
or who don't even like Taylor Swift right now.
Yeah.
And I just, man, I don't even know how to explain like the energy of this concert that I was able to attend. And I can't believe I was able to attend it, you know?
Yeah. That was crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
The Eras Tour, like I've been to several concerts before. Like I've seen 21 Pilots, I've seen Imagine Dragons. And I love, obviously, the feeling of singing, screaming the music that you love and you know all the words to with a ton of other people and just kind of feeling the bass in your chest, you know? Like a concert is a magical experience.
Yeah, totally.
It's just amazing. And seeing it with so many people and all of us screaming these little inside jokes to Taylor and seeing her do the inside jokes and just being a part of this huge world, it's like, it's religious, dude. It is so special.
Yeah. I didn't get to see the tour, Eras tour. I'm not the biggest Taylor Swift fan, but I enjoy a lot of her music. I think something that I appreciate about the Eras tour is the art of performance. Because I think Taylor Swift has a really interesting power in the music industry where she can kind of do whatever she wants. And luckily she is the type of person who will do the right thing. But she went all out for the Eras tour is what I'm trying to say. And she was able to do so. And I didn't get to see it live, but I saw the movie, the concert movie that released this year. And just the way that she, oh my gosh, the sets and the production and all of the like pyrotechnics and all of the effects made for an incredible experience, even on the big screen. And I just appreciate Taylor's ability to put on a concert with so many people and acknowledge them and make sure that they are just as much of a star as she is to the best of her ability. And I think what I'm trying to say is just like, it was an amazing experience. And Taylor has the capability to make it an amazing experience.
I don't think I know one single woman in my whole life, or man, who could get up there for like 3 hours and do it all in heels and not break a sweat.
And
she does
break records.
And yeah, break records. Just her performance ability is incredible to watch.
Yeah.
And the amount of effort that was put in by her concert
team.
designers, her team, even, you know, the truckers that trucked her stuff, everything like that.
Yeah.
It was totally an experience that I'll never forget. And it was a huge touchstone of my 2023.
Yeah.
And so I brought with me a couple of facts about Taylor Swift's year, because it's been a very big year for her. I'm going to put this up here.
Why don't you, why don't you list the Taylor Swift facts, and then you list the 2023 facts.
Okay.
And then we'll kind of do a little quick lightning round where we mention a few other things that we love this year.
I forgot everything.
Okay. But we'll do it anyways. But
Okay, so Taylor Swift was the most streamed artist on Spotify and Apple Music.
Makes sense.
Speak Now's re-release was her 12th album to top the Billboard charts, making her the woman with the most #1 albums in history.
Wow.
She had the highest grossing concert film of all time and the highest grossing concert. There's a couple of numbers that go between Elton John's concert and hers, but most numbers have her coming out on top.
Amazing.
She became a billionaire this year.
No way. Making
her the first billionaire to do it solely through music sales and performances.
That's amazing.
Forbes says that she's the fifth most powerful woman in the world, and that she boosted the U.S. economy by more than $5 billion.
That's insane. Wow.
She's the first artist to occupy the entire top 10 of the Billboard hits.
Okay.
And Time Magazine's Person of the Year, obviously. But she's the first honoree to be selected for their achievements in the arts.
Good for her.
I know.
Yeah.
And so I'm very happy for Taylor Swift. I'm glad it's such a year for her, and I'm very excited and happy to be a part of her little fandom.
Yeah. And as someone who like isn't the biggest Taylor Swift fan, as someone who doesn't care for some of her songs, as someone who is just a passive enjoyer, I appreciate who she is. I appreciate what she's doing, even if she's not like number one in my eyes.
Right. I think she makes great music. I think her lyrics are just incredible. Her performances are just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And she's like a good person.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, I think she's a good person.
Yeah.
And so it's just, that was definitely my number one for this year.
Amazing.
Okay, let me give you
let's
some
wrap it
stats.
up with some stats.
Okay, on music, the most streamed songs, like individual songs on Spotify, were number 1, Flowers by Miley Cyrus.
Okay.
Really?
That was number 1?
Yeah.
Wow.
Number 2 was Kill Bill by SZA.
Oh, by SZA.
SZA. Number 3 was As It Was by Harry Styles.
Nice.
And that's not something to forget, too. This is my lightning round, is
Yeah.
that Harry Styles had a great tour this year as well.
Oh, yeah.
Love on Tour.
So many artists did so well this year.
Okay, for the U.S. domestic box office for movies. Number 1.
And if you don't know what the box office is, this is movies that made the most money
Yeah.
in ticket sales.
Number 1 was Barbie.
Nice.
Number 2 was the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yep. And number 3 was Oppenheimer, right?
Nope. Number 3 was Across the Spiderverse.
Yeah.
Number 4 was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Way. Oh, this is U.S. domestic. I was thinking worldwide.
And number 5 is Oppenheimer.
Awesome. Great. All great movies in their own ways.
And then it was pretty hard to find the top selling games because there's funky statistics on that.
Yeah.
But from what I gathered, it looks like number 1 is Hogwarts Legacy.
That makes sense.
The top selling.
Harry Potter.
Number 2 was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3.
Oh.
And number 3 was Tears of the Kingdom.
Actually, they won't count this.
But Lethal Company.
They won't count this because it wasn't a AAA release.
I wrote that down.
Lethal Company actually outsold Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But number 3 was Tears of the Kingdom?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it
No
was.
way.
Yeah. Number 4 looks like Spider-Man 2.
Oh, awesome. Oh, my gosh. And there was tons of great paintings this year, I'm sure, but it's hard to those
To see
aren't
which
as
one
publicly
sold the
ready
most.
as movies and music, but we appreciate those as well. Holy frick, what a year.
What a year.
You want to do a little lightning round?
Yes.
Just take turns saying the art that we appreciated? Okay. I discovered Arcade Fire this year, and I love them.
Oh, I forgot. Oh, Asteroid City.
Oh,
Wes
I love
Anderson.
Asteroid City.
Loved it.
The Last of Us TV show.
That's a good one. This one's harder for me. I don't have a brain when
That's
we
okay.
do this.
Hey, that's okay.
All right, how about you just list them?
Let's see. I mean, I knew about her before, but I really got into Eliza Ivanova this year. Her stuff is
She's
just
great.
absolutely amazing. I'm trying to think of all of our topics.
I have some topics that I want to say that I really got into this year and I'm really excited about, but I can't because I'm going to cover them on later episodes.
Okay, just a couple more. Did I already say the Last of Us TV show?
Yeah, you literally just said that.
Okay.
Spider-Man 2?
You didn't play Spider-Man 2.
You don't know that.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie?
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
Didn't Puss in Boots come out this year?
No, that was last year.
Oh, well, it was amazing.
Yeah. 8-Bit Big Band's new album was really good.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's all I can remember.
That's all you can remember?
Yeah.
Hey, either way, great year.
Great year.
An amazing year for art and for movies, for games, for music.
It just feels like it's just going to keep getting better.
Yeah.
Dune 2 is coming out next year.
Oh, I forgot about Dune 2. I like Dune 2.
So,
Yes. Happy New Year.
thanks for joining us on our 2023 journey, the very first year the gallery existed.
Yeah, we're grateful for everyone that tunes in and resonates with it.
And we look forward to another amazing year filled with just incredible art. And we can't wait to share it with you.
Bye.
Bye.